Evening. Like and share, then let's get this audience going. I'm round to my daughters tonight. I've got to come down in a bit of a hurry, get a few things done. But so I've got me normal surroundings. I was sat by her Christmas tree, which is very nice. There you go. It's as Christmassy as it gets today. Lots of stuff to chat about tonight. I'm waiting for Luke Sargent. Luke Sargent, you need to get in touch with me, mate. Reference the pledged money for the Magookin, alright? Very generous offer, but we need to get hold of you, or DM you, or whatever, or you DM us, and we'll sort out. I think the painting's coming to me, or the drawing's coming to me, and I'll send it to you as soon as I get payment, or confirmation of payment onto the Channel 6's site, okay? So that's that dealt with. I shall wait out for that. That stands at £210, and once again, Luke Sargent, that came in last dibs, right, very last knockings of the show. So thanks very much for that, buddy. That's why I didn't get mentioned, because I'd actually turned the machine off when that came in. So thanks very much for that. Okay, SoftRep TV, radio, and blogs, and all the rest of the stuff that SoftRep do, what they've been up to. Long weekend, but there's a good piece about GoPros. I've just got myself a GoPro, and I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff with it, because I think there's going to be some great stuff. And I know I'm probably a little bit behind the curve when it comes to stuff like GoPros and that, etc, 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 but they are a great piece of kit. And there's some good stuff on the site with them, so have a quick look. There's a piece written, and it's about army waivers allowing people to smoke pot cannabis. I haven't read the whole piece yet. I'm going to read it after this. But it just struck at me straight away that there was waivers for people being allowed to use pot for medication within the American Army. So that's going to be quite an interesting piece. And when I've had a read, I'm sure I will have an opinion on it. So there you go. Pot being smoked in the army. Who would have thought, eh? Jesus, that really is funky, isn't it? Is your iPad?
Have you got yours?
No. There's a green beret featured in today's pick of the day, which is worth a look at, which is nice. And there's also a piece on an 11-year-old girl who's been in prison for years, and her cellmate's a serial killer and all sorts of stuff, but a great piece. And 11 years old. I think it's in Afghanistan or something like that. And I haven't read the piece again, but I've been told it's a great piece. And again, it's one of the ones I intend to read after this. But it's on the softrep.com site today. And like I say, don't forget all the blogs and vlogs and all that sort of stuff that are written on the SoftRep site are all written by operators. They're all written by people who've been there, seen it and done it. Okay, so they're well worth a read. And there's no bullshit in these pieces. It's said how it's seen, all right? And there's some really good stuff. Okay, so my main effort and story for today has gone both ways. It's gone left, it's gone right, it's gone up, it's gone down. And basically, I went down to Westminster this morning to do some bits and pieces for them. Some of you might have seen my live show earlier with Westminster, which went out. That went really well. And then someone phoned me up and said, "Oh, there's a piece that I need to read about some military dogs." So anyway, I looked online, did a bit of research, and sure enough, there's two dogs, Kevin and Daz, a German Shepherd and I can never see, a Malinois, or whatever he's called. And basically, they're being, it's hit the social media saying that they're both due to be put down rather than retired. So obviously, you know what social media is like. It smashes things right up there as high as they can ever get, spreads all over the place. And so I did a little bit of digging on this. And anyway, as I got into it, I realised that Sky News were doing the same thing as well. So Kay's been on it, Kay Burley, and Alistair Bunkle, he's been on it all day as well. It transpires, I think, as I've been told, I've not had it in black and white yet, but I've just messaged Ali now. I've got a feeling that they're both safe. But it was a hell of a story. And it broke, there was a story similar to it, broke about 2 years ago, about these service dogs. And don't forget, these service dogs do a tremendous job. You know, not only they're going on ops, but they are being used on, they're going through the holes in the walls that are being smashed in by SF and that sort of stuff, okay? They are going in, they're number one on the door. These dogs are going in, they're taking severe risks. They're trained, they're on edge, they do long tours, they have multi-handlers. So it's not just one bloke gets hold of this dog and keeps it for life, they have multi-handlers. So these dogs are doing a lot of good stuff. And to think that their retirement consists of an OBE one behind the ear, or in other words, okay, it's not on to me. I think it's a bit out of order, and I think it's a bit like below the belt. Now, I'm being told by the MOD and by sources there that basically they'll assess a dog once it's finished, and depending on what condition it's in, will depend on where it'll be rehomed or what will happen to it. Now, we all know, and I've had it from another source, and I'm not going to say who, you know, if it's deemed that the dog can't be rehabilitated, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it gets. It gets finished off, and it's put down. It's destroyed. I had another thing today, you know, and I heard a woman, Jane Stanton. She's from Hereford. She's got a German Shepherd rehab centre where she's dealt with police dogs. I'm sure she's probably done some army dogs as well, and basically dogs where people have bought themselves a German Shepherd and suddenly realised, fucking hell, this thing's big, it's scary and I can't control it. So she'll take it on and she'll rehouse it. And she believes all dogs can be rehomed somewhere. And like I say, we're not saying take one of these dogs and stick him in with a family with 4 kids, etc., 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 you know, toddlers riding and all that sort of stuff. You've got to be a bit sensible and a bit realistic, you know, maybe out onto a farm or somebody who can give the dog a bit of its own space, perhaps even keep it outside, etc., etc., etc. So, you know, there has to be a bit of sensibility in this sort of thing, right? And anyway, she was saying that, you know, this thing rose its head, you know, and she's obviously seen this happening over the years. And she was saying that, you know, the dogs are viewed by the MOD or the police or by whoever's got them as property. Okay, so the dog is property. So to put it in layman's terms, the dog's a bit of kit. Okay, that's how the dog's being viewed by some people, as a piece of kit. And, you know, once it reaches its 9-year shelf life, the piece of kit is no good anymore and you get rid of the piece of kit. I'd like to think that the dog was a little bit more than a piece of kit, to be honest. And that was a bit alarming. Now, I've not had it from an official source that's how they view them, but if that is how you're viewing a dog as a piece of kit, that's wrong. Because, like I say, these dogs are acutely aware of their surroundings. They're intelligent animals, okay, and they deserve a little bit more than a clout over the back of the head when they finish their day's work. Do you know what I mean? They do their thing. They deserve a retirement. They deserve it. So I've come across already tonight. I've had a message from a young lady. I'm not going to mention her name now because I've not asked her for permission. But she's got a rehabilitation thing. Hero Pause, life after service, okay? And she's actually got a dog in rehab at the moment called Fonzie, and there's a Facebook page, Fonzie's Final Mission, so have a look at that. Fonzy, Fonzie Final Mission, it's his final mission. And they're working with these dogs, okay? They're taking them, and you know, even if they're not integrated back into, you know, a normal home, they should at least be into some sort of sanctuary where they can live their days out, you know, and not have to worry and be fed and cleaned and watered and all the rest of it, and basically die of natural causes. Because I wouldn't want to think that none of these dogs have, you know, some of these dogs get decorated, for Christ's sake, you know what I mean? They win medals. You know, they serve, you know, there's amputee dogs and all that sort of stuff, do you know what I mean? So, to think that somebody would just go, oh, it's a piece of kit, I'm not having that, to be honest. I'm not having that. I'm not having it that anybody would be heartless enough to say that a dog that gives its life service, you know, and don't forget, the dog's not a volunteer either. The dog gets told to do it and does it, all right? So, you know, it's not like a squad here. The dog's a volunteer. You know, the dog's not a volunteer. The dog gets volunteers. So he has no fucking choice in the matter, does he? All right? For me, he's not a piece of property, all right? He is a dog. Okay, and he's a good dog if he's doing this sort of work. And the reality is, these dogs are saving lots of lives. And when the SF use them, they use them for a reason. Because that dog gives a hell of a distraction as he goes through the thing and gives that bloke behind it, you know, a good couple of seconds in some instances, time to think, react and see what's going on the other side while the dog's in there getting amongst it. Okay, and people are, you know, because those dogs are fearsome when they come through. And I'm telling you now, you know, certain people don't like those dogs and start scattering pretty quick when one comes through the door at you, okay? So, you know, they are saving lives and they are affording the guys the time to react properly. Not only that, they're being used as sniffer dogs, they're finding gear, they're doing all sorts of stuff, these dogs are, okay? And to describe it as a piece of kit and not to give it an appropriate, you know, an appropriate retirement, for want of a better word, for me is shocking and out of order, and I don't like to hear it. Okay, so that's not what I want to see.
So Alex Gowty said, what did Danny Lyne say about the dog issue?
Right, Danny's away. I haven't managed to speak to Danny today. He was working, but I am going to go and see Danny tomorrow. And Brandon Webb, obviously who owns Hurricane Media, etc., etc. He's got a friend in America who's got a dog who does canine as well. I'm going to go and speak to Danny about it. As I do intend to go and see Hero Paws. I do intend to collate as much information as I can and I'm going to try and find out if there are places that these dogs can regularly go, that can be fired into the MOD to be said to the MOD, right, MOD, listen here. When you get a dog and you can't rehome him, or you don't know what to do with him, or he's reached the end of his shelf life, as you call it, the dog can go there, and the dog doesn't need to worry anymore. So I am searching around now, desperately looking around. I'm going to speak to Danny, because Danny obviously knows the industry a lot better than I do, as does the guy in America. It's probably a bit far for a dog from the UK to go to America, but anything's possible, you know that. Do you know what I mean? We can put a passport on a dog nowadays. Andrew's got a passport. You can go
usually
in
Flemings, they're veterans.
They are veterans, exactly, and that's my point. They are not a piece of kit. They are a veteran. Some of these dogs, like I say, some of these dogs are decorated, for Christ's sakes. They win bravery awards, okay, and that sort of stuff. So the dog is a service dog. He has served his time. He is a soldier, for want of a better word, right? He's done his time. He's a veteran. He is a veteran, whether he be an animal or not. He's a veteran. He's done his bits and pieces, all right? And I happen to love dogs very much, so I'm not having this happening to dogs. So I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to visit a few of these people. I'm going to follow the Fonzie and see what he's doing. I've literally only stumbled about him about 10 minutes ago. I got a message sent to my home page. Someone sent me a message, so I'm going to have a look at Fonzie. I'm going to have a look at Hero Paws, and they say they offer life after service. And I'm going to have a look at Brandon's stuff, and I'm going to speak to Danny Lyons, and I'm going to get amongst this dog stuff, and I'm going to see how many dogs we can actually track and follow sensibly. Because I think if you can put a name to a face, all right, and take it away from being a piece of kit, if we can actually start tracking a few of these dogs and finding out where they're going and finding out, you know, what stage of rehabilitation they're in, and making sure they're not getting a clout behind the head, that'd be a good thing. Okay, so it's something I'm going to get involved with. This is because I don't know.
Like Ash said, Danny Lyons is a top man in the dog hound.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing Danny doesn't know about dogs. Seriously. So when it comes to dogs, Danny is the man. From Britannia Canine Security, if you don't know him. When it comes to dogs, Danny is the top geezer, probably in the UK without a doubt, and he's up there in Europe and probably in the world, to be honest. He is the man with dogs. So, Danny, I'm coming to see you. We're going to talk dogs, we're going to talk rehabilitation, we're going to talk how it can be done, and we're going to talk about various centres and places that you must know exist, and that I know now exist, of one of that exists, where these dogs can go when they finish service, and then we'll start using our contacts to funder it into the MOD to say, whoa, let's put an end to these stupid stories about dogs getting an OBE when they've finished. Let's get these dogs rehabilitated, let's get them out of service. Because to be fair, if a dog's 9 years old, not many dogs go past 15 or 16 anyway, so we're not talking putting these dogs into sort of like 20, 30 years of rehab. We're not talking a very long time at all. But that doesn't mean to say that shouldn't be a dignified and enjoyable time for that dog. Because if he's given his life to living on the front line and you know, charging through fucking doors and chasing bad guys and digging up bombs and all the rest of the stuff that these dogs do, he deserves a fucking few days with some decent fucking chumpy, a nice fucking bowl of water, and somewhere decent to get his fat fucking head down.
Scott James said he's just heard that both dogs have been given a reprieve.
Okay, so isn't it wonderful when the press get involved? All of a sudden the dogs have got a repeat. That's a good thing. So we can make a difference, okay? And well done, Ali Bunkle, and well done, Kay Burley, for your interception earlier on today, okay? And getting involved with that, because as soon as that went live, you know, there was obviously people offering to take care of the one dog straight away, and suddenly the second one's followed suit. But I want to find some permanent solutions to fire into the MOD to say, that's where your dogs go when they're finished, that's where your veteran animals go. Because that's what I want to do. So I thought it was worth a show's worth to talk about this sort of thing today.
Paul Harmer said they can't look after our soldiers properly.
Exactly, mate. Yeah, exactly.
Help our hero dogs that save lives.
Exactly. So, like I say, well, we're going to try and put it. As well as trying to do the veteran stuff that we do, we're also going to try and do some veteran stuff with the animals as well, because it's right to do so. I don't believe that anybody or any animal should be treated like that.
Cartwright said, does the same happen to military horses, do you know? I wouldn't have thought so, would you?
I don't know. There's not so many horses being used in combat nowadays, that's for sure. Most of the military horses are on ceremonial duties and that sort of stuff, I suspect. It's not something I've come across a lot. Obviously, there's horses used at Sandhurst, goes up the step every year and all that sort of stuff. I would have thought they're pretty well looked after. I will have a check for you, son. But like I say, it's the dogs that I'm concerned about at the moment, because it's the dogs that are actually being used in combat. And the dogs that are, committing, they're being committed to do these jobs, and it's fine with the dog saving life and all the rest of the stuff. So when it's finished, it's only right and proper that dog should get a decent retirement.
Leif says, can we have that verified, please? Like, obviously, who's behind them? As soon as we can find out. I've
sent Ali Bunkle a message and Kay Burley, so hopefully they'll get back to me. I know they're always insanely busy down there, and they seem to drop one story as soon as it's finished. But hopefully someone will get back to me and let me know the fate of the 2 dogs. The 2 dogs we were talking about earlier, there was names from, I've got names from, Kevin and Daz. So Kevin and Daz.
Colin Trevor said he sent food and treats to the working dogs in Afghanistan.
Yeah, too right as well. Do you know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, a few of those things that make the breath smell better is not a bad idea for them dogs as well. They put a fucking long shift in. They do long tours. They go out there, they do long tours, you know what I mean? And they don't, they're not belly aching about R&R and all the rest of the stuff, do you know what I mean?
Ryan Todd said, is that 50 cow coffee?
No, not 50 cow coffee. It's Bovril today from the pound shop. I'm round my daughter's house. And it's Bovril from the pound shop. I like a bit of Bovril, I do, from the pound shop. So any more questions coming? I haven't. Obviously, I'm unprepared tonight. I don't have any questions. Just have a quick butchers at what's coming in down here. You're putting champagne for the dogs, Phil? Will you fuck you down the bubbles? Laugh out loud. You putting champagne on for? I'll put some champagne on for the dogs, mate. No, if a dog was drinking champagne, I know Andrew likes a bit of whiskey. Or he used to.
Colin used to like whiskey and milk, didn't he?
Yeah, he used to love it, didn't he? Retire them to their handlers' families or train them for treatment, rehab. Yeah, you're right. Right, Phil Bauer. The thing is with some of these dogs, they're trained up and then they're multi-handled. So they're left in theatre. And basically, you'll have guys that are trained to use these dogs and they'll just pick the dog up. And you'll get assigned the dog for a mission, etc., etc., etc. And then the dog will go back. So you might use this dog, repeatedly for a 6-month tour or something like that. But when you finish your tour, the dog stays put. You disappear and the next handler comes out. Okay, so these dogs are multi-handled. Right. So having spoken to a couple of experts on this, and I am no expert on dogs by a long way. I'm an expert on how to love dogs, but I'm not an expert on how to look after them at that level. Okay. Now I am told that if a dog is multi-handled or a dog is capable of being multi-handled, then he's a lot easier to break back into a calmer society, as it were. Okay. So that is. I mean, you can imagine that if a dog spends his whole life with one person, the chance of anybody else getting close to that dog is probably a little bit remoter. But when a dog is multi-handled and it's used to being picked up by lots of different people and obviously, used, then, and used as a horrible word as well, or work alongside lots of different people, then obviously the dog is probably of a mindset where he's easier to chop and change around a little bit. So that was quite interesting. I'm sure we're going to find out a lot of interesting stuff about this as we get into it because, like I say, it's a funny one.
All the best, Phil. Keep going from all of us at Nottinghamshire AFC.
Thank you very much.
And I did have...
Andrew's into his Bell's Scotch whisky. Oh, no. He won't have a blended whisky. Only a single malt for that dog. And he enjoys his haggis and his Scotch eggs. Anything else he can get his fucking horrible head on. Fonzie, the retired SAS dog, is watching your feed. He's so grateful for you helping, and that's Rebecca. So Rebecca's the young lady who's got Fonzie. Fonzie, if you're watching, mate, who dares wins, buddy. You know the score, don't you?
So
and I bet you've had some great handlers, mate, and some great times. You know what I mean? And don't forget, he probably has had some great times as well. So that's another thing. You're breaking the dog's coming away from all this stuff. He's had all this. He's been interacting, and dogs love to interact. I don't know that much about dogs, I'd say, but they love to interact. So he's had interaction at a massively intense level. Okay, and he's been rewarded and he's been patted and he's been stroked and he's been taken in on all these jobs and it's been intense for him. And he comes out and he'll be like, boom, massive great big hole left in his life. So yeah, Rebecca, I'm gonna do as much stuff as I can with this, and like I say, I'm certainly gonna follow Fonzie because he seems like a top dog, literally a top dog. All right, okay, so we'll get some pictures of Fonzie. I'll get them out on my website, etc., etc. I'll get them on my feeds and we'll follow Fonzie a bit.
Someone asked you to give a shout out earlier to the cadets and I can't find it.
Ernie McGurkin says, next time I iron that t-shirt, switch it on before, switch the iron on. Well, I'm afraid, Ernie, next time Wendy irons my t-shirt, no, I'm joking, mate. She's giving me evils now. No, there's I'm on the road. I don't iron things. I'm on the road. I'm on ops. Okay, so there you go.
Oh, where's that cadet one they asked you to give a shout out? I can't find it.
The ACF lads.
No.
I will give the ACF a good shout if they
No, there was...
Or at least a hot brick and a mess tin. That'd do it, wouldn't it? Hot brick and a mess tin. That's my iron.
Adam Barlow, hi Big Phil from British Troops Remembered.
Okay, British Troops Remembered. Hi to you as well. Good to see you watching. A guard on site can't be returned as they are trained to bite. But sniffers, trackers, and hold you. Yeah, it's not. regardless of whether the dog's been trained to bite or not, there must be still somewhere we can put them for rehab. I'm not saying stick them in with a family of 4 with 3 toddlers, do you know what I mean? Absolutely no way, okay? But what I am saying is let's try and find sanctuaries for these dogs to go to where they can have a little bit of space to themselves, where they can roam about for a few years, and when they can retire, you know, and not have to just be put down, because that's not, you know, I don't like seeing dogs just put down, but especially, you know, when they've given, you know, what these dogs give to us, you know, it's just not right.
Director Bodie says hello from Texas, long time no see.
Hello from Texas. Haven't seen you for a while. No, I haven't seen you for a while.
From Texas, are you? You said hello from the UK.
No, I'm saying hello to Texas.
You said hello from
Stop
Texas.
picking up me grammar, woman. Just shut up, woman. Jesus Christ. I'm getting grammatically fucking spell checked by the fucking Google over there, like, you know what I mean? Okay, human veterans or dog veterans, both together. You're damn right they are. And Rebecca says, there is somewhere they can go. We will find the right home for the right dog. Rebecca, I believe you. I'm going to come and see you at some stage if you'll let me come up and film the dogs, okay, and film what you do, and we'll follow this down, and I'll do a couple of pieces and I'll put them out on my social media, and I'm sure Brandon will have no problem with me whatsoever sticking stuff on SoftRep about the dogs, because, you know, me and Brandon are both dog lovers. He's got a dog, I've got a dog, okay, I like dogs, I love dogs.
Oh, Brandon's got a lovely dog.
Brandon's got a lovely dog as well. Okay, and I don't like to see these dogs, you know, it's almost fucking abuse as far as I'm concerned. You just put a dog down and you go, oh yeah, you go, a bit of kit. No, it's not a bit of kit, all right, it's a dog. Okay, let's get that, it's a fucking dog, it's a soldier, for want of a fucking, like I say. Hi Phil, enjoyed the chat lunchtime at Westminster. Yep, it was great. On border security, thanks very much, Scott. Yep, Westminster. I'll be doing a few things with Westminster over the next year, I would imagine, so you'll see.
Oh yeah.
And don't forget, I've got that piece coming out of Westminster, so you're going to love it when it comes out, because I have been seriously cutting around Europe, doing exactly what I wanted, carrying all sorts of kit. And when that goes viral, it's going to go viral, I can tell you that now.
Harvey Woodward. Phil, please can you give a shout out to the Notts Army Cadets?
The Notts Army Cadets, there you go, a massive shout out for you. Wendy's done it already, so you have a great evening, lads, and keep watching. And like I say, DM me, I might even come your way, come and say hello. How about that? Did I have a dog when I was active? No, I didn't, no. And it's something that's only really sort of like massively taken off over the last sort of like, I suppose, 10, 15 years. It started kicking in more when I got out. I mean, I'd seen search dogs in Northern Ireland, and we'd worked alongside a few dogs, you know, I've always seen security dogs and all that sort of stuff. But to the level that they've been used lately, you know, they weren't really using them like that on the stuff that I was doing when I was in. So, like I say, now they have a role, and it is a role that is extremely important, and they save lots of lives. And you know, they are a great asset, and they are a great thing to have, and they are, you know, they are more than just a piece of kit as far as I'm concerned. And I keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying that. Indeed, Phil Bauer, he runs the Warrior Dog Foundation to assist with vested interest in canines and codes. There's Larry Olsen. I'm sure I'm going to uncover all sorts of places. Oh, angry face on, of course. I'm sure I'm going to uncover all sorts of places for these dogs to go. And I think it's only a case of letting the right people know. Because obviously there must have been, you know, you get these last two dogs, within 5 minutes of Kate Burley opening her mouth on telly and Ali Bunkle kicking it around a couple of places, the dogs are both okay. They're going to be saved. You know, like I say, I haven't got it in black and white, but I have heard from good sources that those dogs are both going to be taken care of. And I don't see a reason why any dog would need to be put down from the MOD, and it would upset me to think that they were putting dogs down. Because like I say, even if the dog is deemed to be a biter and he's dangerous and blah, 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 there must be some, fucking hell, lions and fucking tigers are fucking dangerous, and they keep them behind fucking bars somewhere and still give them a fucking half-life, do you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm sure they can find somewhere to put a dog.
You're a biter now, sure. You can.
I am a biter. Yeah, so there you go. So, your demeanour shows tonight, Phil. No 50 Cowheart. You must be out of town. Yeah, there is no 50 cow tonight. Truly man's best friend.
I'll tell you what it is. Why he's a bit hyper.
It's the chocolate M&Ms that Wendy got for me. Okay, right. So, Rebecca, I'm going to be in touch with you, and I'm going to be in touch with anybody else. And please feel free to message me. You know how to get hold of me by now. You can get at Big Phil Campion on Twitter. You got my Facebook page. You can go through SoftRep. They'll get in touch with me. Please feel free to get in touch with Brandon, the guys at SoftRep, with any of this stuff and any advice that you've got and anything that you want promoting, references, dog stuff, or anything else, to be honest. But at the moment, you know, while we're doing this, please get hold of me. Please let me know. Rebecca, I'm coming your way if you'll let me. I'm going to come and see Fonzie because he sounds like a top geezer. All right, so I'm going to come and see that dog. I want to get a selfie with him at least. All right, so we're going to do a few bits and pieces there. And like I say, we'll push this the MOD's way because I've still got a few friends in the butts, and we'll see what we can do. Tomorrow night, I'll be back in London. I think Wendy's going to stay back down here, so I'll be cooking something. It's going to be something slightly festive for my first one. It's going to be the starter for my Christmas dinner that I should be doing tomorrow, okay? So we'll bung that one in there tomorrow. Until then, okay, who dares wins. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching.